Joe in real life. Squat every day, 103? I don't know. Merry Christmas, my babies. I'm down in my garage. It's Christmas morning in Savannah and it is freezing cold. Someone mentioned I should get a space heater going. I do actually have a space heater, but it works like shit. And I think it's kind of pretty, but it isn't working that well. Happy holidays. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're enjoying friends and family, your various loved ones. And that's all working out for you. Yesterday, someone on the channel asked me to add more yoga content, and I'm definitely going to do that, but I'm not going to take on an ambitious project immediately. I like the kind of whimsical element of these videos. I like that they're kind of shit and like amateurish, and it's a low bar of entry. Basically, anyone could make a video like I'm making right now, and I think people should, man, because it's really fun and it's a good like diary of your work that you can return back to. But I was also thinking like I could just add a few simple stretches, so that's what today is. I got my coffee. I'm on my yoga mat. I'm going to show you the 3 simple stretches I do before squatting every day. And it's especially good on a cold day to just check your range of motion and all that. I'm sorry I have the camera set this way, but it's just easier for me to adjust. And we're going to do this in a shitty amateurish way. The first thing, a Malasana squat. You get down into the lowest squat you can, and you use your elbows to help work your knees apart. Now that's important because I'm going to take a weight and I'm going to hold it right here. Why am I doing this? Added resistance or whatnot? Actually, no. Virtually anything would work. I'm using it as a counterbalance so that I can lean forward into my ankles and get some good pressure there. You might feel this in your hips and knees as well, depending on how bendy you are. That's okay. You might need something less ambitious. Perhaps just even working into a Malasana squat without any resistance would be better. You can also elevate your heels. I stole this tip from Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy. His content on this material is a lot better than mine. Please refer to him. But simple door stops you can get at Home Depot, their angle is perfect. You just like slide them under your heel. You'll get your heels up, you'll be able to get into a deeper squat, even if your mobility isn't good. But for me, all I'm doing, and you get a nice shot of my groin there, is trying to get into these ankles, And I like 30 to 60 seconds. I'm not strict about timing. For you type A's, just use a stopwatch. You can download an app for free. And for those of you who are a little more organic, 10 to 15 inhale exhalations through your nose, slow and controlled, will put you right in that ballpark. Actually, 15 would be more like a minute for most people, maybe even a little longer, And this is stretch 1. I might do variations. I might try putting the weight down, feeling kind of just a loose position, and then picking the weight back up. Depending on how cold I feel, depending, what my body's asking me to do on a given day, I could spend a lot of time down here. You also have twisting variations. You take an arm around your knee, press the other one away, opening your side bodies. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that today, but it's certainly an option and good for you. Next, the simple figure 4 that I showed you badly yesterday. And let's see, and these are entry-level stretches, like that anyone can do, I understand Malasana could be tough for some of you. I promise you, if you just give it a little time every day, it will open up for you very quickly. Unless you have a catastrophic injury of some form or another. But figure 4 stretch, also very simple. Let's see if I can get a good angle for you, right? take your right leg, put the ankle on the thigh, hold on, I'm shimmying, yeah? Get in a position like this, right? Unambitious. This is essentially a pigeon stretch, but you're taking it down a couple notches. Then you take your hand underneath your opposing hamstring and move the knee towards your body. You're gonna feel it on the outside of the right leg. You might feel it in the glute. The piriformis is really gonna get nailed here. So I got a hot tip for this one, right? Because you could put some body English on this movement, you know? You could do something like this, and like I can get my foot all the way to my chest like that. To really maximize the effectiveness of that figure 4 stretch so that it feels something more like a pigeon posture that you'd feel in a yoga class or whatnot, you have to drop your lower back, your glutes, right to the floor. So you want good tension from your hands through your leg. You want some good counter tension in that figure 4, but your lower back has to be completely passive, completely relaxed. You have these bony protrusions right above your butt on both sides, your SI joints, 1 and 2. You want them on the ground, and there are a number of variations that are deeper and more effective with this stretch. I don't think they're necessary. I still do them because they're fun, but they're not necessary. If you get your lower back flat on the ground, you have good counter pressure in your hands and your thigh, you're gonna get a really deep stretch there. So that's 2. The third, we'll take a little walk. This one is gonna seem like total bullshit, but I promise you, it's great. It also has a slight variation that I think you'll like. Let me make sure I'm lined up good, right? This is the simplest of them all. That work? A little better. Here we go. So, you see I have my barbell in my rack, Bells of Steel. Sponsor me, guys. I love your stuff. All you want to do is take your hands. I like to put my wrists flat on the knurling, and I just allow my head and chest to sink, arms straight, legs straight, butt pushing back, and just go totally passive here, right? Completely getting as much space in the movement as I possibly can. And then I'll do this for 5 to 10 breaths, 20 to 40 seconds, and then come up, squeeze my scapulas together like I'm trying to pinch something between my shoulder blades, and do it again. You're gonna have a lot less space, a lot less range, and it can feel somewhat stressful, you know? That's good. Pulling the shoulder blades back, slowing the breath, imagining the sternum reaching towards the ground, opening your heart, as yoga teachers like to say. Then I come out and do another lazy one, no structure. That's a little bit of a test-retest scenario, and you can do it as many times as you need. Basically, trying to open the front of the body. Get long, tall, and straight here. Now, that might seem a little counterintuitive, like you're about to squat. Do you really want to be loose through your midline? Well, it's not that aggressive a stretch, right? And yeah, it is a little bit counterintuitive, but once you get weight on your back and move down through the position, you're gonna find that your chest is able to stay a little bit more forward, your brace is able to be much firmer, and then through muscular activation, through neuromuscular response, you can reconstitute your structure. These 3 stretches are unambitious, and they will over loosen you a little bit. I think especially this heart opener, and weirdly enough, the ankle stretch. The piriformis stretch is just a good idea, just across the board. But these two stretches will get you a little too limber in that if you go heavy, it might put you in a compromising position. Now, what I would instruct you to do with that is just take more warm-up sets, before you go heavy. Like, don't go from the bar to your 1 rep max in under 15 minutes. Just don't do that, And through your warm-up sets, I would keep your rest at a 60 seconds between sets, 90 to 60 seconds, but also maybe even less. Make sure your body gets warm. Make sure your heart is beating a little, like I'd say even zone 1, And yeah, those are 3 basic stretches that I do every day before I squat. It's just part of what I do to put my body together, to make sure this 45-year-old man doesn't staple himself to the floor under the bar. I also like some bear crawls and some kettlebell swings just to get my glutes firing and my hips firing, but those aren't stretches. And maybe we'll talk about them another time. I'm already at 12 minutes. It's a little bit ridiculous. Anyway, happy holidays. I love you guys. I think I'm gonna do pin squats today, but first I gotta warm up. All right, stay tuned. So, that was a pretty bad and pretty amateurish stretching video with some basic stretching in it that I use for squatting. And I don't know, a number of you know this, but I'll repeat it anyway. I was a yoga teacher, an Ashtanga-based yoga teacher for almost 10 years. And the recent interest in yoga from ye all, I don't know why I'm using old-timey language, but has really gotten me thinking, because I've definitely let my yoga practice slide the last 6 months. And I don't feel bad about that, because I was banging on a different door and having a lot of fun and really got somewhere with strength training, especially old-timey strongman training. But I'd like to get my yoga back. And the question that's rattling around in my head is, outside of a studio setting where I'm paid a small amount of money to teach a class, and I'm not knocking studios, I mean, it's a business, but also a lot of good yoga comes out of studio settings, despite the mass market. But outside of the studio setting, with no money being exchanged, with no even real hope of profiting, how would I teach somebody yoga? The constraints of the studio removed, how would I teach a stranger yoga? And maybe we can even deepen that question to how would I teach somebody I care about, respect, and love yoga outside of a classroom? And that's not an easy question to answer. But I'm kind of thinking right now it might make for a good New Year's resolution. I think New Year's resolutions are dumb. Everybody has that opinion. None of us think they're good or useful, really. It's fun, but it's dumb. But maybe I could treat myself like that person. And you, if you're interested at all, how would we start knowing nothing and learn yoga? I'm not sure. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to sleep on it tonight. I'm going to eat candy all day and have fun with my family. And I'm going to think about an answer to that question, and I'll get back to you tomorrow. These are box squats, or rather bench squats, but it's the same idea as a box squat. And what I work on here is taking a wider stance than typical. The milk crate I always squat down onto is 11 inches high, which is, I would say, if you're talking about a competition powerlifting squat,
is an inch or two lower than necessary. It's perfect. This bench is exactly 17 inches high, which I would say is probably 2 to 3 inches higher than a legal lift. I'm doing sets of 5, and I'm going up to a 5 set max, or 5 rep max within reason. And by that I mean I'm leaving as much as 10 or even 15% in the tank. I'm working on breathing and bracing here more than anything else. Like, the hips are getting good work, for sure. But I'm trying to create a strong structure through my midline, groin to throat, that can support that kind of weight and teach my body, teach my nervous system to handle it, so that when I make a big ask in the future, I'm not caught with my pants down. And yeah, this was a good session. I warmed up, but I'm not warm. And despite that, my body moved really well. I believe this is 225. They look okay. And my max set was 250. And I definitely could have gone heavier. But I didn't want to, and I was cold. Nothing for it. Oh, and I'm running out of video space already. That was 250. Cut off again. So anyway, I'm going to think about that question tonight. Like, how would you teach somebody you love yoga without an exchange of money? Without, like, how would you, to maximize interest, enjoyment, and success, how would you convey an asana practice to somebody you love and respect, but also is kind of a stranger whose physical capabilities are unknown? It's an interesting question, and I'm at least going to think about it, and I might cook up some sort of half-baked New Year's resolution on that principle and concept. I don't know. Look at my face. I got a red nose like Rudolph. It's cold out here in Savannah. It's mid-20s, low 20s. It feels good though. I think I'm going to throw my weighted vest on and go for a little walk in the woods. This is Joe in real life. I love you guys. Happy holidays. Be kind to each other. Enjoy your family, you know? And if you're alone this holiday, don't be sad about that. Enjoy being alone, you know? Do something you like by yourself. I'm super grateful for you all. I'll see you tomorrow with yoga ideas, either an ambition or the idea to drop it entirely. We'll see. See you tomorrow.